Suchong's clinic! It's at Suchong's clinic.
That's a bit convenient now. Ryan's got every turret in the place tuned to me and me men's genetic code. We'd be torn to shreds before we got 10 feet.
That's right. Which is why I'm gonna do it for you. You okay with that?
Get me the ace, I'll wrap the brat in a silk ribbon. Bag her and bring her to my bathysphere. One of the lads will show you how to get inside. We'll be waiting for you where you come out. Shake a leg now. The Lord hates a laggard.
Well, that was equally disturbing the second time. But nevertheless, we are here. Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea, Part 2. Or Episode 2, I should say. And we are here to find the ace in the hole, whatever the ace hole is. During cutscenes like that, I always tend to remain pretty quiet. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for me to comment on it. I think it kind of speaks for itself. So, no, I'm not dead. I'm here. I'm fine. But looks like we have to... We're looking for something that everyone seems to know what it is except us. The Rapture Tribune. Hi. No, not here to talk. Okay, fair enough. Looks like there's only one way to go. Plasmid shortages loom as conflict continues. Couture magnate under the coffers. Luxury oh, whoa. Okay, so not exactly the original proprietor. Oh, and another copy of another copy of co-eds. Oh, the Big Daddy suits. Dr. Suchong's free clinic. Issue hydronic fluids when drill causes subject to become unreliable, unstable. Blech. There's this drill hanging down there on the floor along with a lot of oil and bits and bobs. So do we know where we're going? Oh god, look at that. Do we know where we're going, or are we just heading for the ace in the hole, wherever it is? Oh, hang on, we've got another one of those clipboards. Might give us a bit more information. Come, look, this another drill covered with black slime. Oh no, I can't pick up that clipboard. Clipboard. I was not covering my eyes. I was looking in entirely different directions, so I didn't need to. That's the hair sample I brought him. Imprinting solution not found in genetics. No goddamn causality, no genetic link. Looks like he's done the tests he wants to do on the hair sample we brought him before from the earlier episode. Nothing seems to be interactive, like nothing has popped up even with just a turn on, turn off or anything. It's like we're in a museum. Vita chamber. Oh yes, the Vita chamber, of course, is the thing in Bioshock that kind of resurrects you when you die. Combination of plasmids reconstructed within a field of quantum entanglement. Fantastical restoration properties. Fast track this project. All chambers must be tuned to Andrew Ryan's specific genetic frequency before proceeding with distribution. Because that was one of the key plots in the first Bioshock, that the main protagonist was connected to Orion in some way. Right, we've got a couple of little sisters on the right and a dying Big Daddy? I don't know. What do we do? Say hi? Something ain't gonna happen to move him. How do I do that? Hi, could you... Oh, no, you're pretty scary too. What can I do? Just put him in yank?
Alright. Let's see here what we could do.
Mr. Monster's scary. Stay away from him. He's scary.
Look, it's okay. He can't hurt anyone.
Scary.
Shh. Shh. Can you move?
Oh, this is scary. Ah!
Can you just move a little bit for me. Don't... I don't know how to help you. I don't. No, he's just hurt. He just needs somebody to figure out how to fix him. Maybe there's some... I don't know. Is there some documentation for him around here or something? Right. Look who I'm asking.
Repair the Big Daddy. Why would we want to do that? It'll just try and rip us limb from limb. This is the worst idea I've had. Oh, God. Well, I assume the documentation will be the clipboard that we found back here. Whoa, the place just judded. Big Daddies are scary. Read the note. Okay. And again, it's encoded with chemical symbols.
Big Daddy will not imprint. If not imprint, what good is he to little sister? She no like him. He no like her. Situation is impasse. Unacceptable.
So the whole issue that they've been, well, I guess the enemy, the bad guys have been having the whole plotline is that they can't get the Big Daddy to imprint on the little sister. They don't like each other. They don't care for one another. They're just pretty independent. And we've seen some horrific experiments done by both Fink and by Souchong to try and resolve that kind of situation, seeing animals and dogs and stuff. Frank Fontaine.
Souchong, what the hell were you thinking? Drinkable plasmids? We're burning through 10 times the amount of atom compared to the injectables. And if you fail to notice, them sea slugs ain't exactly growing on trees. Switch back to the injectables and let the eggheads in marketing worry about selling it to the chumps.
And yes, the big issue in Rapture was that they were running out of plasmids, all the stuff to make them. Oh, read note. What note? That note? That note.
If stupid beasts had half brain, they would realize they need little sister to live. Sisters secrete only kind of atom that is genetic match for them. No little sister, no Big Daddy.
Okay, the game is telling me to return. Apparently that was the only information we need. There's Souchong's glasses. Where the hell is Souchong? So they need each other to live.
Scary, 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 scary.
I've got to do something.
Go on then.
Big monster sick. Big monster
It's okay.
sick.
It's okay. Please. I don't know how to help him. He needs Adam. I don't have any of that. I don't know what to
Monster's
do.
going to die. Not fair. We can help. Help.
That's so wrong. Oh, this isn't going to end well for me. This is not going to end well for me. God, this thing's so huge. God, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Oh, they've imprinted on each other.
It's a thorn in its paw.
Which is what happened with Songbird and Elizabeth. One healed the injury of the other, and that was all the imprinting they needed. Oh, it's kind of cute in its own little way. In a very, very scary diving bell, big drill on his arm, sadistic murder you without even thinking about it kind of a way. Okay, now that leads us to the ace in the hole. And what the hell is that shadow? Fish? Cognitive conversion. Subject to undergo a series of reconditioning therapies. All therapies have been outlined in notebooks. Strict guidelines have been approved. Okay. I'm going in. Suchong's log.
Is that your puppy? She's very pretty.
Thank you, Papa Sushong.
Break her neck for me.
What?
Break that sweet puppy's neck. No, please. Break that puppy's neck. Would you kindly? No. No. Very good.
Well, that was horrifically disturbing. There's the origin of the whole "would you kindly" debacle. In the first game, of course, we could not disobey when kindly asked to do something. Ugh.
Suchong, of all the things I know this. It is in your power to be a different man. What can Ryan take from us that we have not already sacrificed at the altar of discovery? They are children, little sisters, and yes, they will forget. But you and I won't. The memories of what we have done fade only with the dimming of all lights. Tenenbaum.
My memory fades a bit with Tenenbaum. I remember Tenenbaum is one of the main characters in Bioshock 2, but she took quite a backseat role in Bioshock 1. She's got some link to the girls themselves rather than the rest of the technology. There's something quite spectacular going on through that. Oh, and there goes the Big Daddy and the girls.
Dr. Suchong, client Ryan Industries. Very frustrating day. I can't seem to get the damn Big Daddies to imprint on the little brats. The protection bondage is just another forming.
Has he not seen what's just walked past his door? One thoroughly imprinted Big Daddy. Oh God! Do you know what this means? We have actually created the big sister, the little sister Big Daddy thing.
Maybe if I modify the genetic sequence to allow for. Get away, you filthy little shit!
Uh-oh. That's not gonna go well.
What are you doing? Get back!
Oh, God.
Get back!
Well, we can safely say that he protected them. Oh my God! Well, I'm never going to hurt a little sister, mainly because I haven't got that big shotgun I had in the first game.
There's the ace.
What is the ace? Oh, it's an envelope with ace in the hole written on it. Oh my God, Dr. Suchong is just a bloody mess, literally. There's nothing symbolic about that one. We possibly have a thing on the floor. Okay, so what is the ace in the hole?
This is it. This is the ace in the hole. All the pain and all of the death for this.
But what did it mean? What did it translate as? Oh, that's a nice touch. I guess that's the recording that he was currently making when the thing flipped out. Anything down here? God, wow. End to wall. Anything else over here? No, looks like a dead end. So looking in the wall is the only way to go. Squeeze between the old pipes. Oh, God! That freaked me out. Ah! One of those gatherers' gardens. girls with the Adam. And there's Atlas waiting for me with the ace in the hole. Past all the little girls. We might save one, but what about the rest? I'm walking very slowly. There's nothing. I'm not controlling the speed. It's deliberately slowing me down. I've got a feeling that something very nasty is going to happen, or very final,
sister.
or something.
Over here.
Okay, Atlas, what have you got? The rebellion of rats is going on right now.
I have it.
Give it over then. I'm keen to get this brat off me hands.
Got no choice. We're surrounded by loads of them. Well, let her go first. Oh, this is not going to end well. Give Atlas the ace.
You know what? Andrew Ryan said I was a rube. But he was wrong. I'm not the rube, Atlas. You are. No. We both know what happens next. Just get it over with.
Well, love, if you insist.
Whoa! We're on the plane. It's the plane from Bioshock 1. Oh my god, it's the plane. We're on the plane. We're on the plane carrying the character, the protagonist from the first Bioshock 1. It's gonna crash.
What is this? It's just a bunch of gibberish. What does this say, you little whore? Hey! What does this say?
It says, would you kindly?
We've got the activation phrase. Now all we've got to do is get that genetic freak of nature on an airplane, and Rapture's ours. Yeah!
A slave obeys.
They say to save one life is to save the world entire. It is you who are the savior.
I can see all the doors. And what's behind all the doors. And behind one of them, incredibly, I see him.
Je vois la vie en rose. Il m'a dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours. Et ça me fait quelque chose.
And with that, Elizabeth breathes no more. Now, I had a few issues with the copyright over the end credits here, so I've cut out the sound at various points and cut back in where I spoke over it. But obviously, there's lots and lots to talk about here in terms of what the ending kind of meant, and of course the DLC as a whole, the impact there. So I'm going to let the whole credits play. We're going to talk loads about what we have just seen, and of course, I would very much value your comments in the comments on the YouTube channel afterwards if you have your own theories. So let's get started. So that was Bioshock Infinite. Burial at Sea, Episode 2. Thoroughly ending with the demise of just about everyone. The events of Bioshock Infinite then are what trigger the events of Bioshock 1. The circle is not unbroken, but in fact creative, to go back to the original elements of Bioshock Infinite. It's by giving Atlas the command phrase that enables him to have control over the main kind of character in Bioshock 1, and then all those events lead on from there, and then you can see in all those little clips that were flying past there, that was all the events of Bioshock 1 and 2 perhaps. So everything starts and finishes from here and goes round and round again. And you can actually kind of deduce from this that Elizabeth herself is responsible for the events of Bioshock 1. Without her intervention in Rapture, Atlas never would have begun the riot against Brian. And Irrational Games have said that, Ken Levine has said that he's going to be shrinking down his game making in the future, so this may well be the last Ken Levine Bioshock, but certainly not the last Ken Levine game. It may not be the last Bioshock, but it certainly won't be. It may not be the last one done by the original creator, but certainly things will be different from this point. As a little bonus Easter egg, they put the actress that plays Elizabeth singing the "You Belong to Me" song, which was referenced earlier in the game. I've had to cut it out for copyright reasons, but I'll let the images play as I continue to kind of talk over it. Now, of course, Elizabeth kind of plays this kind of slightly dual role, I think, in this DLC. In one sense, she is completely devoid of powers. Like, she no longer has the ability to open tears, move through them, to see every opportunity, and yet she still kind of maintains hints of the memory, and I think that's kind of where Booker kind of plays the role. I mean, he seems to be a kind of a figment of her imagination or her subconscious, but he seems to allow her to tap into the subconscious memories that she would have had before, by looking through the tears. So, for example, in the last bit here, she's there kind of saying, "I don't know where the ace in the hole is, I don't know where the ace in the hole is," and yet Booker then, who openly admits to not really being Booker, kind of says, "Yes, you do know where it is," and she knows that it's Suchong. So she kind of maintains access to those memories, despite the fact that that part of her has been literally killed off by the Big Daddy character, and obviously she's kind of reformed as one final incarnation of herself. I think we can assume that the version of Elizabeth we played as here is the final version of her. This is no longer one of many. This is the version of her, the only version of her that has survived what the kind of Big Daddy kind of did to her, and that kind of explains why she no longer has those powers as well, because she is no longer kind of split across universes. And although she kind of smiles at the end, just before she kind of dies, and you might kind of say, well, hasn't she just lost? Hasn't it all gone horribly wrong? But as she does seem to have access to those kind of those tears, and therefore glimpses into the future, she has kind of seen how this is going to pan out, and she kind of sees that Atlas will use Jack to continue the kind of the riot, and he will kind of use him as the pawn, but it isn't going to work. In the end, Jack is going to be the savior of I don't know if savior of the Rapture is the right word, but certainly at the very least savior of Sally. Jack will save Sally, and that's why Elizabeth's last line there is, and through one of these doors I see him, and you see kind of Sally there reaching out for the man in the white jumper, who is the same man that you saw on the plane in the white jumper. So that is Jack, and that's why Elizabeth more or less dies happy, because she knows that her mission is complete. She may well have completed Atlas's mission, but she has also started Atlas's demise by giving him access to the man that will eventually kill him. I don't know what I thought of that as DLC. I must admit, I mean, obviously a lot of Bioshock always comes down to the ending and the final, like, you know, kind of like, and I wouldn't say that was like a particular twist. Like, I wouldn't say that was like a twist ending, but it certainly resolved the story, ended the story, and then it's almost like, well, now you can go back and kind of play Bioshock 1, because the events of Bioshock 1 have now kind of like officially started, if that kind of makes sense. So I think it's probably a very final ending, but that's probably kind of the point. I guess it's kind of like an ending that was not supposed to leave you with questions, but more leave you with answers. And I guess therefore it did, especially if this is supposed to be as this is the last DLC for Bioshock Infinite as well. It's not trying to sell you another product this time, and it's not trying to sell you an idea for you to buy something new. It's actually trying to complete the story, and I guess in that way it has. The events of Booker and Comstock and Elizabeth have led to the events of riot and rebellion and in Rapture. One city gives way to another. I mean, there was none of the whole, very little of the whole tears thing in this one. There was no, like, always a man and a lamppost, always a man and a lighthouse and all that kind of stuff. They left all that side behind and just went for a kind of straight story, really, a rescue mission. A lot of the, I would say, the second two, a lot of the final third was kind of just walking past things. So the end of the game there very much was trying to join up the stories. Like, I wouldn't say we had a finale in terms of a boss fight or anything like that, but what the goal clearly was there was to join up the Bioshock universe as a whole. Perhaps not with Bioshock 2, like we've kind of said before, but he was very careful to, in that final kind of exposition, to explain how the events of Bioshock 1 happened. So all of those questions that you may have had from the beginning of Bioshock, well, you know, how did this happen, and where did Jack come from, and how does Atlas know the code, and, you know, blah, 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 you know, how does this happen, and how does this happen? He uses the end of Bioshock Infinite to probably explain, finally, once and for all, the beginning of Bioshock 1, which I think, in a way, is also his way of saying goodbye to the series. It has now been explained. It's kind of a prequel, but certainly it's more of a prequel than a sequel. But of course, it's a sequel because it came after it in terms of our time, but before in terms of game time. That's something to mess with your head a little bit. Minecart Cat, I don't know about that. I would be very surprised if it did, because there's been no kind of update to the original Bioshock as far as I know. I think it certainly explored some of the ideas of why you might have like a why the big daddies are imprinted on the little sisters, the relationship between them, how you got the same from the Songbird. Explored some more Daisy. Very little Booker, has to be said. Very little Booker, very little Comstock in this second half of the DLC. In fact, you could even make an argument, really, that Burial at Sea Part 1 and Burial at Sea Part 2 were not very related. There was a kind of a slight link in terms of one, like, Elizabeth uses, is it Sally, as bait and to guide Comstock to it. But essentially, when Comstock dies, that is, assuming that nothing else is going to happen, that is Comstock's and Booker's role complete, and then the rest of it is about. This is essentially episode 2 here is essentially about Elizabeth setting up events in Rapture with interaction with Atlas and Shuchong and things like that. Lots to kind of think about, but the story, yes, Mr. Biggs, unequal indeed. I don't know if I would have said the DLC is better than the main game. I think for me, I remember when I finished the main game, my head was, oh, what's this? A bit of Beyond the Sea, waiting for me. And you can see the wreckage of the plane there just falling past the city. So the message is clear that Jack has arrived. The ace in the hole, which I must admit, I when I all the way through and it's kind of saying the ace in the hole, I probably should have put 2 and 2 together and go, well, what is Atlas after? Actually, Atlas is after Jack. Therefore, Jack is the ace in the hole. I probably should have realised that earlier, but of course, that's one of those lovely things about I don't know those kind of endings is that it kind of tells you the things that you should have realised all the way through, but you didn't quite spot it. So that's not a problem. It's interesting reading some of your comments throughout this series. The bit that seems to have annoyed you guys as viewers the most seems to have been the reimagining of Daisy as a kind of heroic character, and to an extent I agree. I liked the way she was presented as a hero, and then it turned out that she was actually as kind of desperate as the others. But I agree. Perhaps I don't like the way that it's changed her character, but I did like the idea of the DLC reimagining a character that we knew already and telling you more about them that you didn't know before. So I see why they did it, but I also kind of see your kind of frustration with how it's kind of spoiled an otherwise fairly well kind of rounded character. But I also liked the way it showed a kind of more malicious side to the Lutesses as well. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed my playthrough and my explanation of Bioshock Infinite Episode 2. Please like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and do check out the live streams as well. Take care, bye bye.